Preseason week number 2 is now underway for the Washington Commanders as they get back out to the practice field. Military Appreciation Day from Ortho Virginia Training Center at Commanders Park. We didn't go fully unscathed from the week 1 preseason game. We lost a player for the season with a torn ACL, and we get an update of the players who did not practice or participate last week, and the current status of Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and Luke McCaffrey. But preseason week number 2 preparation has begun. Let's talk about it. What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson, back with the latest and greatest on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about our Washington Commanders. It is once again Sunday, August 10th, 2 days following the preseason opener and 8 days until Washington's preseason game number 2. Very important week of preseason because since the league took out the 4th preseason game, the 3rd week of preseason is no longer the dress rehearsal. It is now number 2. Week 2 of the preseason is the dress rehearsal for the regular season for these players. That and joint practice. So if there's 1 week of the preseason that we're going to actually see Jaden Daniels and company for a quarter, or dare I say a half of football, it's going to be on Monday Night Football on August 18th, live from Northwest Stadium. Jesus Christ, I can't even talk right now. But here we go. The guys are back out at practice. You're going to see all burgundy jerseys out there. Why? Because we wear burgundy at home, probably burgundy tops, gold bottoms. But they're starting to get in game mode, and in game week, sometimes that happens in practice. You see a lot of guys wearing the burgundy at practice, getting back home or whatever. But injury updates. I thought we went fully unscathed from serious injuries because, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt had to go to the blue tent, which gave me a heart attack. It ended up just being him checking on his shoulder. He was back at practice today. Luke McCaffrey, who had some undisclosed illness, he was back at practice today. You know who was not back at practice today? Marcus Mariota, Noah Brown, Brandon Coleman, Jordan McGee, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, Kevin Seymour, Viliami Fehoko, and Bobby Price. Listen, Bobby Price and Kevin Seymour does not concern me. They are new Rashad Wildgoose and Tariq Fields-Castro. Not concerned with that. Marcus Mariota is the solidified backup quarterback, and dare I say, if we had to put Josh Johnson there at some point, we wouldn't be horrible. Not concerned there. Noah Brown already banged himself up this offseason. He is an annual trip to the IR or the injury list. So it's probably best that we hold him out because his job here has got so important with the ongoing contract dispute with Terry McLaurin. So not as worried here. Brandon Coleman, Jordan McGee, Javonte Jean-Baptiste. That's where I start to put some concern. And I know I read the comments. I see y'all in the chat. Rio, it's just precautionary, nothing to worry about. Brandon Coleman, John Baptiste, and Jordan McGee have all been plagued with injuries. I know Brandon Coleman fought through most of his and played pretty much the entire season for us, but injuries have followed these guys like their shadow since they've arrived here, and they just got here last year. I want to be excited about a player like Jordan McGee. He has so much promise, so much size, athleticism. He has so much of the makeup of the guy that takes over for Bobby Wagner when it's his time to keep it pushing. That paired with seeing absolutely atrocious linebacker play in preseason week number 1, I need to see what Jordan McGee could do. So these preseason games, these joint practices, these are valuable reps to the development of one Jordan McGee. Javonte Jean-Baptiste, I know he was a 7th round pick, but he actually showed some things in flash when he was on the field last year. But just like the other 2 guys I've listed, he hasn't been able to stay completely healthy. Brandon Coleman is a starting left guard now. I need him on the field if Five's taking the field. I don't want Jaden Daniels on a football field in a meaningless game, even versus the trash-ass Bengals defense. I don't need him on the field if the 5 starting offensive linemen, or at least 4, because we know Cosme's probably coming back later this year. Shit, he could be back week 1. He won't be playing in a preseason game. I don't need Jaden Daniels on any football field in which he has a potential Uber driver blocking for him, because that is our prized investment. That is the center of the franchise right now, and we don't play those type of games over here anymore. There will not be any of that going on in the preseason. But Kazmir Allen was also wearing a black no-contact jersey. Nothing to see here as well, but glad to hear that Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt was back at practice and that Luke McCaffrey's good. And I was going through it when y'all updated me that JP Finley tweeted out that he went to the medical tent on Sunday. But speaking of today's practice, there weren't too many updates or specifics about it, but Zach Selby gave us a few, so we can go to Zach Selby in just a second. The Jaden to Debo connection, I'm telling you, man, y'all told me I can't find a silver lining or something positive to take out of the Terry's absence at training camp. Well, I'm taking something positive out of that shit. Jaden and Debo have been inseparable so far. They've been inseparable, and that connection is very strong, and I love how much actual wide receivery things we've had Debo doing since he's got here. Zach Selby said, and Jaden's looking for him all day, every day, especially with no Terry there. First pass of the day from Daniels in 7-on-7, Debo touchdown. The second pass, another Debo touchdown. He's going right back to it every practice in 7s on 11s. They don't really do 1-on-1s as much anymore, but it's just a whole lot of 5 + 1 = 6 every time. We need to put that shit on a t-shirt at this point. 5 + 1 = 6 every time. Debo Samuel may be our touchdown machine this year. Good pass breakup by Marshawn Lattimore on a pass to Jalen Lane. Really nice blocks by Eckler and Lane to help Debo get open. It's a whole lot of Debo shit happening right now. Tuck your chain in. Quinn said he's seen a real confidence from Jalen Lane returning punts. We just got to make sure he keep them feet up right. I don't need to be seeing more of that Antonio Gibson's tripping shit, but I'm not concerned with him being a punt returner. He's going to kill it as a punt returner. So Amos and Marshawn Lattimore are making plays in practice. Those are good things to hear, because you will see Amos, Lattimore, and Mikey Sainris still this upcoming week when the Cincinnati Bengals come to town. I don't know if y'all saw what the Bengals did versus the Eagles backups. The Bengals starting offense came out on that field, and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase ripped them a new one for 2 possessions straight. Remember how that Monday night game went, how we scored every time we got it and the Bengals were scoring every time they got it? Yeah, it looked like that. So just know that a hungry, I can't believe I didn't make the playoffs the last couple years, Joe Burrow is coming to town, and he's not treating this like a regular preseason game. They talked about how valuable it was to get reps and to build their synergy going into the regular season. So this is in front of the world. We're going to be playing starters, and this is with a very motivated Cincinnati Bengals team coming in. So don't be surprised if you see a little first quarter, first half shootout between Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow. So it is paramount that guys like Trey Amos, Marshawn Lattimore, and Mikey Sainris still bring their A games even in a preseason game next week, because that's the best receiver in the NFL, Jamar Chase. This is probably the best twosome of receivers in the NFL. And this was the best statistical quarterback in the NFL, Joe Burrow, last year. Nothing about that offense is a slouch, so I need our defense on their P's and Q's. Apparently, we're trying out up to 7 new players this week. I haven't seen the details on all the guys. Lucas Niang is out for the year, one of our depth offensive tackle pieces that we just signed about 8 days ago, already out for the year. Speedy recovery and prayers up to him. I hate to hear that, but that's why ultimately losing by 30, it's a successful day if you're not losing a bunch of players due to injury, and guys are getting seriously injured. Someone in the Lions game had to stop the game because it was life-threatening type situation there. It looked similar to the scene when DeMar Hamlin's situation happened in the Buffalo-Cincinnati game a few years ago. But these are preseason games. No matter how good or bad the team looks, if you can get out unscathed, unblemished, and nobody's on the season-ending injury list, then it is a good day. But the team's back at it. They're rocking burgundy practice jerseys all week. Jaden and Debo getting right to business. Lattimore and Amos are showing up for the defensive side of things. There's nothing too crazy or too long-winded I need to get into about practice today. I will update you guys when they start telling us specifically which players are going to be trying out for the team, because they're holding tryouts for multiple people. But before I go, just wanted to have a quick comment. I see people I see people saying Washington needs to sign Gabe Davis or Amari Cooper. First of all, didn't Amari Cooper retire? And like my boy Jalen was just saying on the timeline, I saw St. Juice locking up Amari Cooper last year, which told me he might be donezo at this point of his career. But we're talking about the sixth receiver on this team. We can expect Terry's going to play. Like, no matter what's going to happen, Terry's not holding out. So I don't think we need to worry about anything there. Terry, Debo, Lane, Noah, McCaffrey. Those are going to be your top 5 receivers. No matter how you feel about Luke McCaffrey and Noah Brown, those are your top 5. NFL teams aren't just wielding 6 quality receivers. There's a handful or less of teams that can go 6 deep with quality receivers. We have to look at the big picture of these things and not just what we see burgundy tinted lenses version of these discussions. We need to see how this plays out. We got a bunch of guys competing for one spot, and the 6th receiver is not going to get the most burn in this offense, even though you like to keep 6 because Cliff likes to spread it out, and you got to account for shit like Noah Brown always getting hurt. But it looks bad right now because Terry's not here. Terry's going to be here when the regular season starts. He's either going to be extended or he's going to be playing the final year of his contract. I don't see him holding out, and I don't see it getting to that point of messy, but could be wrong. Just wanted to give y'all an update on practice today. 5, we don't even really need to go into Jaden too much at practice because we know what he do, but we're going to see him 8 days from now. Him and Debo getting right back to business. Dan Quinn, Tell the Truth Monday. Whole lot of honest observations about what took place at practice. And we got injury reports for players. When news comes out about this, okay, I see one player that we're trying out. Hold on. One player that we are trying out that I have no idea anything about him in the league. Commanders are working out defensive end Jeremiah Martin, per Aaron Wilson. Don't know who that is, but he played for the University of Washington in college. We'll find out some more, and we'll find out about the rest of these tryout players, and I'll be back on the channel to update you guys yet again. That is all I got for right now. Until next time, hail to the Washington Commanders. Commander Rio, out.